Welcome back, students, to part 2 of the Holiday Toy Maker project. This is your price point. However, before you get started on part 2, make sure that you have checked out the video on place value to refresh your memory on how to use place value accurately and effectively for this part of the project. If you forget what place value is or how to use it, this video will help you. Even if you think you know, you have to watch this video first just to make sure that you have a refreshed memory before you jump into part 2 of the project. This is what the website looks like for that video. You can see that I got it from LearnZillion.com, and if you go right here to where it says direct instruction, you click on the play button. They have a 5-minute video refreshing your memory on place value. After you've watched that video, you're ready to start part 2. Let's go over the directions. Part 2 is how much you are going to charge for your toy. But before you determine how much your toy will actually cost to make, you need to know how much it will cost you before you can figure out how much you're going to sell it for. So you've checked out that video and now you're ready to complete part 2 of the project. Part 2 tells you to set the price point. That means you need to figure out how much it will cost your company to make the toy, and then you'll decide how much you're going to charge for the toy. Remember, you want to be able to sell your toy for more money than what you paid, so your store can actually make a profit. So make sure you use your knowledge of place value wisely. Here are the directions for part 2 of the project. You're going to roll a single dice 4 times. And you're going to place these in random or more specific numbers on the 4 place value lines you see below. Let me just circle that real quick so you see exactly what I'm talking about. I'm talking about these 4 place value lines right here on the chart below. That's where you'll be placing whatever you roll your dice number. Each box has 2 place values represented, one in the ones and one in the tens. You need to use your knowledge of place value to create a low cost, which is over here, B, and a high price point set by your store to sell the product. So this is how this part of the project is going to go. First, you're going to need the dice. Once you have the dice, you're going to roll it. Notice that I got a 2. Now you need to use your knowledge of place value to determine where you're going to place that 2. Well, obviously, you want something that is going to cost you a little bit of money, but sell it for a lot of money. So I'm going to take this 2 and I'm going to put it in the tens portion of what it's going to cost me, because this part B right here is the price paid by the store to create the toy. Now I'm going to roll the dice 3 more times. I roll it here and I get a 1. Now I tried to play my hand by putting a 2 here, but still a low number 1 is good, and I can put that in the ones, which means it cost me $21 to make one of my toys. Now I'm hoping for big numbers. I'm hoping for 6s and 5s because I want to be able to sell this for a big profit. Let's roll the dice 2 more times. This time I got a 6. I'm really lucking out here. So I'm going to obviously place that 6 in the tens place value for how much I'm going to sell this for, because that 6 isn't worth 6, it's worth 60 based on the fact that it's in the tens. I roll the dice 1 more time and I get a 3, which means it cost me $21 to actually create the toy, but I am going to sell it for $63. That's using your knowledge of place value wisely. Let's show you how to fill out the rest of this page. It's important that you understand that the papers I've printed for you today most likely are not color-coded. That's why this video is helpful. You can see that these are underlined numbers in red, which means any underlined red, I need to transfer this number 21 into box B. Notice that I labeled this box B and this is box B because that's how much it's going to cost me every single week that I'm selling this toy over the holiday season, which means in week 1, it's still going to cost me $21 per item. In week 2, it's going to cost me $21 per toy that I am trying to create. $21 in week 3 and $21 in week 4. I'm going to do a very similar process for how much I'm selling it. Notice that I have underlined in blue, and I'm going to put $63, which is how much I'm going to charge for each toy, on each of the blue lines to make sure I understand. It is going to cost somebody $63 if they want to purchase this toy over the holiday season when I am selling it. Now it's time to see how many toys you actually sold as a company. And again, you'll need your dice and your knowledge of place value. Let me show you how. So I've already figured out how much it's going to cost me per toy, $21. I've also figured out how much I'm going to charge per toy, $63, should be a nice profit, but I'm not exactly sure how many toys I sold. The way I figure that out is by rolling the dice 3 times per week and then placing those numbers on these place value lines that I'm underlining right now so that you can see them in orange. So let me roll the dice once. I got a 6. Of course I'm going to put that into the hundreds place value because I want to sell 600. I roll it again. I get a 5. I'm in good shape. This is a great first week of sales for me as a company. And my last one is a 3. Not too bad. This means in my first week of sales of the toy, I sold 653 toys, which cost me $21 per toy, but I sold it for $63, and that will come in later as we figure out how much it cost and how much we made. For this point, however, you just keep rolling the dice 3 times per week. I roll a 4, a 6, and a 2, which means let's say I gambled and I put my 4 here, I then put my 6 here, and my 2 here. Sometimes you accidentally put them in the wrong spot. Obviously, if you were thinking clearly, or if you would have rolled a 6 first, you'd put that in the hundreds because that's your highest number that you can roll with this dice, and that's your highest place value. So I roll the dice 6 more times. I get a 2. I'm going to put that in my ones because it's low. I have a 5. That's in good shape. Let me put that in my hundreds, thinking I may not roll a 6 this time. And I don't, so I got 552 sales in week 3. Ooh, 600 more sales in week 4. How many hundreds? 640, and then maybe another high one here. 2. Not bad. So these are your total number of toys that you sold per week. 653, 462, 552, and 642. You used your knowledge of place value to set your price point, how much it cost, and how many toys you sold. This is the end of part 2. Have fun and use your knowledge of place value.